How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you my review for One Piece, the Netflix live action. Yo ho, yo ho. How do you like my hat? How do you like my garb here? Well, got a little straw hat here. Little duds here. A very much unironed shirt, and Ninja Turtle shirt. Now you're probably saying to yourself, Shane, "Wow, Shane, why would you wear that hat that's kind of over the top? Why even put forth an effort and put it on the shirt if you weren't going to iron it? And what does Ninja Turtles have to do with One Piece? Well, why try? I'll get to this in a second. And exactly, before I go any further, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos like this. I have already predicted that the super fans are gonna hate me. You're not like fun fact, and I've been saying it for a long time. Just because you guys can't see the dislikes doesn't mean we can't. And I do pay attention to things like that. Now here's the agreement that we need to have going forward here between me and you, the viewer. Whether you agree or disagree with me, whether you think I'm far off base, whether you like this, love this, or hated it, comment. Legitimately, let me know where you fall off. Don't watch the first 2 minutes and go, this guy, beep. How about you let me know what we disagree, right? Because from where I'm sitting, everybody in the world loves this thing, except for me. I'm like the only person. Let me take this off because, let me just take this off. Everybody in the world seems to be loving this thing, except for me, except for Juan. I don't love it. I don't exactly hate it, but I don't love it. And I'm level with you. That's not just one, not two, not three. That's 4 pages worth of notes because I have to get all this nitty gritty down. So let me start here. I have said several times, even made a video about it. Not really one of my proudest videos, but even made a video about it. I'll put it in the description for you. I legitimately feel that One Piece is the true successor to Dragon Ball Z. Truly. Many characters, tons of characters, so many that you can pick from. You could be a fan of one particular character, and you might actually know other people who are a fan of this character. Deep, deep world building. Much deeper than my beloved Dragon Ball Z, but deep world building. No BS. Legitimately, it gets into amazing themes. It's not just, and it's funny because there are people out there who for some reason watch One Piece and the only thing they're watching it for is to watch Luffy punch people. I've definitely seen this discussion on other posts about the live action and things like that, and about anime and manga in general, whether politics have any dealings with that in video games, which they do, you idiots. And it's literally a show about the world and the world government and the lies and keeping people down and people wanting to be free and pirates and this and that. It's much deeper than the devil fruits, the Gumu Gumu no Mis, the Gear 5s, all of that pizzazz, all of that stuff. I'm going to try not to spoil too much stuff. This is where my spoiler cutoff is. Dressrosa. So you've been forewarned. If you have not caught up to Dressrosa, that is where I'll stop any particular spoilings. Promise to you. Now, let me get into some more nitty gritty. The showrunner, I don't think he's the sole showrunner, but the showrunner for this, his name is Matt Owen. Black guy. This guy has helped write for Luke Cage, the Netflix show Luke Cage, The Defenders. I also have him down for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, if I would have known he did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I probably would have had some issues because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started off great and it just fell off on the deep end. And he had a hand in this. Apparently, he was going through Tony Weaver. Shout out to Tony Weaver. Tony Weaver is a friend of his. He put out his story, right? And apparently Matt was going through a dark time, and One Piece literally saved his life. So he wrote to Oda, said, Oda, I'm a fan. You need to have a fan helm this show and give it the love that it needs. I commend him for that. He gets all the kudos from me. Round of applause for him being super sincere. This show for me, it feels as if people, and by people I mean people of all ages, whether in your 40s or you're 15 and you watched One Piece, feels like none of you or some of you have not recently watched the East Blue arc, or should I say East Blue Saga, which includes the Shelltown arc, which is in here, the Syrup Village arc in here, the Cocoa Village, Arlong Park is what I call that arc. What else am I missing? Is there anything else? No, that's that with your main villains. Oh, and the Barati arc. Which, fun fact, Oda used to work at a restaurant called Barati. Uh, that with your four main villains for that whole East Blue Saga thing. Oh, and Loketown, which Loketown is not in here, but we get a flash at the end of it of Smoker. And I know it's Smoker because of the thing. You know, you would think maybe Crocodile. No, it's Smoker. We get a flash of that towards the end, right? I feel like a lot of you have not recently watched that. Now, I've said earlier in some of my other One Piece related videos and some of my non-One Piece related videos throughout all month of May, I discovered Pluto TV, and Pluto TV shows every episode 24 hours a day up until Dressrosa, which is why I'm extending Dressrosa as the cutoff for spoilers. I won't do Wano spoilers, I promise. I won't do Whole Cake, any other spoilers. I'm just doing this right here. So, I literally have rewatched all those episodes, I want to say from May to July. Like, even the stuff I missed while I was asleep, I caught up on some of those things. I even watched some of the filler. Like, when I was younger, I didn't really care about the filler. And that's actually, as I've gotten older, I realize how the best moments in One Piece are not the action. It's literally everything else. Contrary to what I said in my 1074 review, where I just wanted more of the action, but that's because I actually do just want more of the action. But here we are, right? A lot of people, and mostly the super fans, are saying because Oda had a hand in this, going, I'm not satisfied with this script, and personally picking out these people. By the by, he thought that Luffy would be Brazilian, right? He cast a Mexican actor for this. The choices in race and some of the gender bents, that is not the issue here. So let me put this on the table as well. I will not be talking about how people look. And by people look, I'm talking about their physical appearances. I will not be grading on that. And for people who grade on that, talking about, oh, this person doesn't look good enough to be this person is too tall or too ugly or too blah, blah. Shut up. That is not important. I do not care about any of that. That is not important here. What is important is the feel of One Piece, and if these characters in this live action feel like those characters. Now, back to my earlier point, a lot of people feel like because Oda has his fingers in this, that there's no way this can fail. There's no way this is bad. And I'm sorry to say, this is not all of that. This is not fantastically amazing. Again, this is my opinion, but I'm shooting to you straight, y'all. I'm gonna shoot to you straight. I have to be honest. When I'm talking about the actors, I'm gonna be now. Let's talk about the actors. Some of the acting's bad. Some of the acting is not good. And some of the casting decisions and casting choices where it's like, well, we get this person. Do they kind of fit, right? Some casting choices are very questionable, but it feels like this is a lot of people's first go. And there's actually the young man who plays Luffy. Don't want to butcher his name, but he only has like 4 acting things under his name. One of them being Imperfect, which I believe is a BBC superhero show. I do want to watch it because it does look good, but a lot of new faces. I don't know who Mocking You is, but we'll talk about Zoro later. So the gender swaps doesn't like. Any of you remember Sham, part of the Black Cat Pirates? Sham is now a woman. Look how much that matters. It matters not. Race swapping. Look, gotta give you credit, Oda. You made sure they put different kinds of people in here. I'm talking East Asians, which is Indians, Indians, Japanese, Thai, Chinese, blah, blah. Not just your white folks, not just the Irish. Too many British actors in here, or too many people doing British accents. That's one thing that's annoying. I'm like, why is everybody in East Blue a damn British person? Nami's sister, Nojiko or Nojiko, she's black. She still has an English accent. I was, why doesn't she sound close to Nami? Like, why don't they have similar accents? I don't know. Didn't look up on the actress at all. Don't know if that's natural accent, but the gender swaps, the race swaps, which another race swap is Lucky Rowe and Yasop. Now you're all probably saying Yasop's always been black. No, he hasn't. Original Yasop was a white dude, and then Oda was like, well, I want Usopp to be darker skinned, so he made Yasop darker skinned because that's his daddy, right? But Lucky Rowe, pretty cool character. And all in all, the actor looks just like him. They made some of these costumes look amazing. Some of them look fantastic, almost straight out of the page. As a matter of fact, a lot of the extra outfits that Luffy and Zoro wear, some of them are from the covers of the One Piece manga and stuff. It's good. I see you took your time. Some of the writing, though, like some of the one-liners don't hit. Some of the conversations, some of them feel unnatural. And this is surface level stuff I'm giving you right here. Okay. This is surface level. So let me go into, I'm going to do props and probs. Let's go with the props. Here's the props. Buggy. Legitimately, Buggy's the best character in this entire series. This here, and what's interesting, and I never do trailer reactions because I don't show anything on the screen. I doubt any of you will want to watch me looking at a screen to the side and reacting to it. So why do it? Another thing before I forget. I'll talk about super fans and stuff like that later. Let me make a tiny little note about the cast meeting, right? That's important. Cast meeting. Some things have come to me, and this is why this is coming late, because I wanted to get all of my thoughts out. So Buggy is amazing. Buggy is legitimately funny. A lot of my laughs from this come from Buggy, and it is astounding. I first kind of cringe. I'm like, why does Buggy look like that? He looks all cracked out. No, Buggy's actually quite funny. He looks just like how he looks in the books, early books. Love Buggy. Usopp. Usopp is Usopp. Usopp is a big old liar. I do have a problem with his appearance, but I'm gonna get to that later. But Usopp is a liar. Some people say he's too cool and isn't awkward. He's very much awkward, and he's very much a liar. But he's a hilarious liar, which, watching some of that early One Piece, Usopp's dumb lies are pretty hilarious when you get to them. Sanji, outside again of some style choices, Sanji's actors did a great job. French Sanji, and he actually lit up a cigarette, and just his actions, great. Young Zoro is better than adult Zoro. Much more passion, much more acting, much more character. Much more. Only time Zoro got character is when him and Sanji started to interact, and that's episodes 7 and 8. Mostly 7 and 8 actually, with a bulk of it being in 8. But young Zoro, amazing. I already mentioned the costumes. You could argue that some of them could be done better, but I find a hard time nitpicking a lot of the choices. They look great. What I'm about to say is going to sound a bit contradictory later, but I'm going to say it now anyway. Shell Town. Remember our chapter 2 or episode 2 where we meet Zoro, and it's the place where the whole town, and where that, I almost call him Captain Morgan, but Axe Hands Morgan's fort. Fantastic looking, looks great from the outside. Don't know how they CGI'd that, or if they practically made it and then turned around on it. That looks great. Matter of fact, even the Barate looks great too. I have no complaints about the Barate. Those are two of the set pieces. Well, two of the places. I like seeing the Shell Town from far out and the Barate from close up, right? Great job. One of the coolest things is when we are meeting young Luffy with Shanks, you hear Bink Saki in the background. That made me go, ah, yeah, Brooke, yeah. And you kind of sing along with it, but got some issues with the music. But we'll get to that in a minute. And initially, wait a minute. Oh, that's I almost crossed onto the props. We get a little tiny bit of "We Are" only on 2 sections. We get a tiny bit of that, right? And those are props. I'm giving you props for that. I will give you props for the fight choreography. Now, there's a moment where Zoro rolls and the Wado Ichimonji bends. Meh, meh. I won't. It when you see it, you kind of go ooh, but choreography was nice. Matter of fact, one of my favorite parts was Zoro versus Mihawk. Looked good. It looked good, right? The Usopp running from Chew, that looked good too. There are parts that like those are some of my favorite parts, and not because they're one for one, not at all, because they look good. Uh, what's another good part? I didn't enjoy seeing Sanji fight, especially when he came in with the flying kick, and Zoro's like, "I had that one, but if you had him, then how come I got him?" Good parts, good parts. Now let's go to the props. Now I mentioned about Shelltown, Cocoa Village. I loved how Cocoa Village looked, and Barate, Arlong Park was Cocoa. Like, okay, so here's my issues. All of it feels like set pieces. I do not feel like they're actually in a world. A lot of the times, I just don't. When you're at Shelltown, while they did get the bar right, better than what they got, Makuni, was that Makuni? The woman who was with Shanks and Luffy when Luffy was young, right? I think her name's Makuni Maki. I don't right now that doesn't matter, right? But her bar looks nothing like how her bar is supposed to look. It's an outdoor bar. Now, sure, I guess I could let that go. But there's some things that happen in the bar that I don't like, and just these set pieces. And some of it took me out of it, like when they're fighting in the I don't want to call it prison yard, but the yard of Shelltown's Marine Fort, right? Once I'm not paying attention to the fighting, I'm just like, man, this is a set piece. The hallway was nice, but every other place is just like boom. And yes, I get it. Some of you smart ass people are gonna be like, of course these places aren't here. Yes, I know that, but I want to make me fooled. You don't even have to. You don't even have to film on location. Like Cocoa Village and Arlong Park, I felt like you were there. I felt like Cocoa Village that looks like a real village. The orange mangroves, the orange trees, the tangerines. Arlong Park with the little pool. Although I wish the pool was much bigger, but we didn't get the pool fight. So, all of that jazz. That's nice, but the set pieces were killing me. Let's talk about some acting here. Initially, Luffy's actor, I'm like, man, I like him. He does actually capture a lot of the spirit of what Luffy is. Jovial, very friendly, knows what he wants, looks forward. Early on Luffy is actually quite smarter than later on Luffy, which it can be theorized that because he got more and more crewmates and more friends, he has more people to think about these things, so he doesn't. So he can let his guard down a bit. But Luffy is indeed smart. But this Luffy, he embodies it, right? But then I listen to how he talks. You see, sometimes he talks like William Shatner. And he doesn't call it One Piece. He calls it the One Piece. The One Piece. Do not touch my friends. That is what when I started seeing it, I couldn't escape it. Other people are talking normally as they can, but his speech, and he speaks like someone who doesn't know English, but I know he knows English because I've seen his interviews. I've seen him meet Oda, and I've seen him meet Luffy's voice actress, which that is actually one name I need to actually know off the top of my head. I feel bad. I feel bad about forgetting this, but Where is she at? Mayumi Tanaka. I was gonna call her something else. He, I know he understands. I know he understands English. I know he speaks English very well. Seen him in interviews. So I don't know if this was a direction from somebody. You gotta talk with passion, and Luffy doesn't really seem like he's all there. And here's what gets me. He has funny ass moments. Where like, I think it was where Nami mentioned something about going, go back to the barrage. And he's like, I'm not hungry. That was funny. Or when Zoro said, "What did I tell you when you first met me? I'm not going to join your crew." No. After that, what makes you think I'm not going to kill you? Like those, he has funny moments. But then a lot of the rousing speech parts is like, man, I'm not feeling it. Where else am I here? Feel good. Blah, blah. So let's talk about Zoro, right? So I mentioned Zoro. And I told you young Zoro's better than old Zoro. And he's better than old Zoro because Zoro talks like this. Actually, I'm speaking with much more inflection than Zoro. See, Zoro talks low. And Zoro thinks that because I talk low like this, that's showing that I'm cool and that I don't care. But what is actually happening is what Nami said. Ooh, so emo. That is how you come off. It feels like you're trying to play Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho and you're not playing Zoro because, Zoro, he has to talk like this and he has to be cool. He has to be the cool guy, right? I don't care about nothing. Hey, you're interrupting my nap. Now, here is my issue with that. And here's why I'm glad I had a problem with it the whole entire time. Because when Sanji gets here, that's when he has personality. And he still keeps that I'm an a-hole. All right, curse. But already has that I'm an a-hole. But, I'm a smart, adequately snarky a-hole. And he smiles more. I'm not saying he has to always have a grin on his face. He's not Usopp. He's not Luffy. He's not even Nami. Zoro will smirk. And for 5 to 6 damn episodes, I'm just a cool guy. If I talk low and I talk slow, I'm pretty sure you'll think that I am also the cool guy. By the by, I don't say any of my moves names at all. And you all are probably saying, well, Shane, it's supposed to be realistic. I can't wait to go in on that one because that is pretty stupid when you're converting an anime with fantastical things like One Piece into a realistic space. It's dumb. Sorry. Not sorry, but it's dumb, right? Funny enough, Oda, and this is some research I found out today, Oda only felt and believed in One Piece when he saw Shaolin Soccer. Do with that as you will. But this is such my issue with Zoro. So monotone. No personality, but only gets it when he's with Sanji. Let's talk about Nami. Why can Nami fight from the jump? From episode 2? Why is she able to fight? Claps of bow staff, whatever. We've seen her clunk people in the head. She clunked in the head Nizumi or Captain Nizuma, whatever crap his name is. Mouse Marine, right? I get that. And the reason why this is important and modernizing a character like Nami, which her actress kind of looks like Jennifer Lawrence. That is some of the jokes I've made to people and to myself. A lot of these actors in here feel like discount versions of other actors. She looks like, I don't want to say discount J-Law, but she kind of does. Shanks, I call him Tony Shanks, like Tony Stark, because it kind of looks a little bit of Robert Downey Jr., but that's just me. But Nami being able to fight this early on kind of negates a character arc for her and Usopp. It gets to a point when they're in, is it Alabasta? When they get to Alabasta, and it's Usopp and Nami realize we're taking on Baroque Works, we're taking on Crocodile, one of the warlords of the sea. We're taking him on to save this girl's country. We're going to have to do more than run away. Because they are part of the Scary Crew. Scary Crew is Usopp, Nami, and my boy Tony Chopper. Chopper's doctoring. Scary Crew. Funny part is Chopper will get in the fray. He don't play. So Usopp and Nami have this journey where Usopp, he makes the Klimattack, and he does things to, make it party tricks. But some of the party tricks are actually so good they knock out the Spike woman. I can't remember her name. Don't care about her name. Right? She is an integral part of the story. So if you make a season 2 and you decide to do Alabasta, don't cut her out, idiots. But that's just my one thing, right? Her characterization, I could take it or leave it, right? Because she acts like an a-hole to Kaya, and it's like, man, earlier Nami was good, but the Nami I know wouldn't be a jerk to this girl. She would just kind of, sweet talk her and lie a little bit. But then you go to her earlier occurrences with the boys, and she does have some weird changes of heart. Like, she doesn't run away to go to I forget the name of the mainline island, but to get back to Cocoa Village where Arlong Park is. She doesn't skip out. She stays. And Zoro's going to fight Mihawk. Because initially, it's all like, I don't have friends. Where you said you don't have friends. So, blah. So, her characterization is kind of all over the place, but it's not very offensive. It's not super offensive. I'm just kind of annoyed about the whole, okay, she can fight already, so what are you building up to? Because initially, it's the 3 superpowers. It's Luffy, the Zoro, and the Sanji. Those are the strongest guys on the ship. And for so long, the crew depend on them that it comes to a point in time where they're like, we got to start getting stronger for ourselves. Why is everyone British? I wish I knew. Kobe, Garp, Helmeppo. Helmeppo actually did a good job. Dude's annoying, especially since they did not give Helmeppo an arc until the last episode, where he's like, I'm not gonna arrest the Straw Hats. That's right, they met the Straw Hats before CP9. Holy shit. Holy shit. Of all the things you could be okay with, that is one of the major things I can't be okay with. Garp and the Straw Hats knowing that Garp is Luffy's grandfather. The fact that his name is Monkey D. Garp, by the way. No one, Nami makes a big issue. And so it's like, okay, I get it. He didn't tell us. But Nami makes a big issue about Luffy not telling them that his grandfather is a vice admiral of the Navy. No. No. This is how I know you all you all remember all the newer stuff. You probably remember 2015 up till now, right? No. The big issue after CP9 and Garp showing up, big issue about him being Monkey D. Garp's grandson. They never say his full name in this series either, by the way. The biggest deal about that is not just because he can hit Luffy and actually hurt him, because rubber guys aren't supposed to get hurt, right? The biggest issue is because Garp is that man. When I mean he's that man, this is slightly spoilery, but not too spoilery. I'm not telling you what specifics he have. Although there's an early conversation with Zeph, where Zeph is talking to Garp after giving him all this steak. They do get their appetites right. Luffy and Garp love to eat. They show that very well. I'll give you that. But Garp was involved heavily in the last age of, I don't want to call it piracy, but the last age of piracy, the last age of the sea in One Piece. He is a big deal. So when they are introduced to him at the end of the CP9 arc, that is a big freaking deal. And that's where it gets revealed that Luffy's father is Monkey D. Dragon. Luffy has to find out who he is. And then, he's Garp's son. And this is when Helmeppo and Kobe and the others outside of Bogart was very well casted, by the way. I love Bogart. Bogart was very well done. This is when all this stuff comes out. This is entirely too early. Entirely too early. Garp testing Luffy to see if he had the resolve. I knew who you were. Garp being Irish was a choice too, because of his grandson is Brazilian Mexican. Like, if you look at the lineage, look at it from the manga and anime, Luffy looks like Garp. But then you look at Dragon, it's like, Luffy has some of his dad's characteristics. That's the thorough line. Dragon is Garp's son. So maybe we'll see some interesting, maybe they'll get a mixed ethnicity person to play Monkey D. Dragon. Which, again, they didn't say Monkey D. Garp. And just having Kobe and Helmeppo show up again this early, they need to be missed. They need to be gone. Let's talk about the Shanks. The Shanks parts, right? I could barely tell Shanks' arm got bitten off by the Sea King. That Sea King looked amazing too. And you missed an opportunity to show us Luffy punching the Sea King when he was going back out. Or maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe that's just from when, Luffy remembering his time with Sabo and Ace, right? Which, by the by, meeting Garp before Ace is stupid. We need to meet Ace first, and Luffy, and then everyone goes, "Oh, so Luffy's parent people have to all be pirates." And then when you see Garp, which Garp wears the dog hat, but it's like a little tiny dog hat, which anime manga, it covers his whole face. You can't really tell that he looks like Luffy. But I think it's such a horrible choice to have Garp show up before Ace. It literally feels, if you're legitimately a fan, at least the order of the major events. Why would you make that choice of Garp showing up first? Personally, I would have had Garp showing up. Actually, I'll tell you what I would have did when I get to that part, right? The Shanks scene that got kind of ruined for me is the guy pouring the drink on top of Shanks. Now, the guy only spilled it on his boot and Shanks cleaning up, and Luffy's like, he humiliated you. I'm like, not really. Because in the original, which we only get this story after Alabasta, when they're trying to get to Skypiea, and people are taunting Luffy because Luffy's like, there's a place in the sky. It's when he's about to meet Bellamy, which I haven't even talked about Easter eggs. Like, you do see a poster of Bellamy, Buggy, Foxy for a second. There, I shoot that stuff in there. The Din Din Mushis look freaky, man. I like it, but they look freaky. They don't ring as loud as I want them to, and they barely move their lips when people are talking on the phone, but they look freaky and I like it. When they taunt him about him saying there's an island in the sky, and he thinks back to when the guy poured a drink on Shanks. And Shanks like, you don't fight then. Only time Shanks would have fought when the dude put Luffy's life in danger. He's like, yeah, and then I'm going to kick your butt, right? And we get the story about I think they more or less kind of combine how he lost the arm. Luffy, he gave Luffy the hat and all that stuff, which is fine. But lessening that story, it doesn't seem amazing. Because this is a good lesson for Luffy going, hey, you don't really have to fight all the time. Sometimes non-action is the best action. And I don't feel like that was shown well in that Shanks scene. Although I will admit, I like seeing Shanks and Mihawk meet up at the end. At the end of the series when they meet up just like they did in the show. Don't know if it was in the manga because I don't remember that far back. But in the show, that's how it happened. Everyone's all happy and it's great, right? Let's talk about Arlong. Arlong's look was a choice. Not a good choice, but it was a choice. And the choice to having him wear a vest. So, this is where the looks matter. Arlong should be bare chested because you see the Sun Pirates logo on his chest. That Sun Pirates logo is important because when you have Tiger, Fishman Tiger, and Fishman Tiger made the Sun Pirates, and he only made it because he had a slave mark on him, and he wanted to burn that away. But everybody else had that Fishman Tiger. Even Jinbei, who gets a shout out, which he got a shout out in the originals. Hey, you did the damn thing, Warlords. That's great. But the choice of him to just being covered up is weird. Him having on gold. He's supposed to have on rings, which is, I always wondered how did he wear rings when he had web hands. But his look was interesting. And his nose, let's look at my side profile. Arlong's nose probably stuck out about this much. Should be about this because during the fight, he's supposed to be moving shark to shark to shark in the water and trying to hit Luffy with it. Did not bite Luffy once. Luffy did punch him, make his teeth fall out, but he grew his teeth back, but he didn't bite Luffy once. Maybe that would have been too hard to do in CGI. Possibly. Right? Possibly. Actually, there's another part that's coming up later. And he does his laugh. He does the laugh once. The sha ha 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 ha. Does that once. We don't get Luffy going to she. His laugh is just a laugh. Okay, fine. Who cares about that? Ian McShane, by the way, was the narrator. Episode 1. Ian McShane. Dad of Hellboy. Also dad of John Wick, in a way. So, put that out there. My next point is there's no One Piece style in here. What do I mean by that? Every character, if when you want to know if whose backstory they might focus on, it says One Piece, and you have like the skull will be the person's skull. Nami's theme One Piece skull looked very ugly. That looked weird. Don't know what you were going for with that, but you get the little skulls. Now, someone expressed to me why Sanji's skull gets the swirl, but you couldn't do the swirl on the actor. And I'm not getting on the actor about that. You are trying to convert this anime that is so unique and has its own style. And some of the aesthetic choices are weird. Oh, it's just weird. So if you're gonna tell me, and super fans were defending this, well, they want to make it look realistic. Then what's the point of Arlong? Why do the shark? Why do the saw shark nose? If you're not gonna do Usopp having a little bit of a longer nose, right? Why not that? Why not the curly Q thing here? I don't get it. Why is it a joke to say your moves names? Luffy says Gum Gum Pistol, Gum Gum Bell, Gatling, Rocket, which he did against his grandfather, and Battle Axe. I said Gatling and Battle Axe, which CGI on that didn't look bad at all. The Gum Gum Bell looked a bit awkward, but everything else looked fine, right? And you have Luffy's like, yeah, all strong fighters, you know you have to say the name of your move. And Zoro's like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. And then Sanji does it on the very last episode. By the way, that last episode was 49 minutes. That fight lasted 20 minutes. Okay. But Sanji, and I was thinking to myself, man, Sanji doesn't say none of the names of his kicks. He's not doing any name kicks. And he does them against the karate fish man, whose name I don't care about. With the Poulier, the Coulier, the Mouton Shoot. Great. Why doesn't Zoro do it? When he did the San Sekai, the 3,000 worlds, we don't even know that his style is called Three Sword Style. We don't even know that it's called Santoryu. If you would have just given me a bone, would have just said Three Sword Style. But no, he's just the guy with three swords. They even made up, I don't know, because I'm not paying attention, but I don't know if he's called Demon after the time skip. I don't think he is, but they made up a nickname calling him the Demon, Pirate Hunter, Roronoa Zoro. No, he's always been known as Pirate Hunter, Roronoa Zoro, or Three Swords, Roronoa Zoro. You don't even call him that. You just said the Demon. And you got this guy who, the fight with Mihawk was nice, but then the spinning blade part was kind of weird. But when he does it, he doesn't say the name. And that's literally, for me, half of the coolness about this show is people's names. Watch my reviews from 1071 all the way up to 1074. I make it a point of writing down these moves names because I love it. Maybe because I like the Japanese language, but I also like the name of the moves. I really do. And that's why initially, yeah, I like hearing Gumu Gumu no. But when I hear him say gum gum, I'm like, at least you're doing the thing I know, right? By the by, you're supposed to have Japanese audio to have with English subtitles. I keep the English subtitles so I can know what they're saying, even though I'm listening to it in English. Not there. If it's there for some people, good on you. It was not there for me. That kind of annoyed me. But again, what would be the point of watching it that way, I guess? I don't know. I already said Arlong's nose, so yeah, he did the motion when he's fighting Kuina for the bull rush. Didn't do it, didn't say it. That fight with Kuina though, young Zoro actor, great job. I enjoyed that. There was actually 3 parts in this series that actually got me a little choked up. The whole funeral part for her, because of how great that kid was good. The backstory for Sanji with Zeph, that was good. There was another part that I wish I could remember that kind of made me go, Sanji's goodbye to Zeph, them saying goodbye. That was great. Everything about Sanji in here was great. No music. Now, yeah, I said we heard Bink Saki once. We heard Parts of We Are, the little instrumental, we heard them twice for a few moments. There's no overtaken. There's that the what's the there's the theme that's played that's usually associated with Zoro taking all of Luffy's pain from Bartholomew Kuma. Those two or three themes, this series doesn't even have its own theme. What? Like there's I expected the theme song and I'm no offense to the songstress that sang that song at the end of all of this in episode 8. No offense to you. I don't like that song. That song doesn't feel like One Piece. It feels like a generic I need to be free. I'm going to go sailing song. Hell, the sea shanty that Buggy sang that was very funny, that was going to allude to the lass's backside. That was very enjoyable and funny, but no music, none of the themes. Why? Why? Now, I alluded to this earlier, and I hope you're still with me. I know this is 40 minutes in, but hey, I had to watch an 8 hour show essentially. I made sure I pushed through those 5 hours because I was kind of ready to stop at episode 4. So just stick with me because I'm ensuring that I can give you a full opinion. Here is something that was deeply bugging me. Missing characters. And I quote, Ripper, the Usopp Pirates, Django, Hachi, Johnny and Yasaku. And then you have Mihawk killing Don Craig. I'll get to that part last. Why is Ripper important? Ripper is the guy that takes over after Captain Morgan gets his butt whooped. And he's the initial person that says, all right, we'll recruit you in here, Kobe. When Kobe punched Luffy and Luffy did it on purpose so Kobe wouldn't, get in trouble. Ripper is that guy. We see him two years later, right? Oh, I almost forgot about Mary. I'll get to Mary in a second. Usopp Pirates. Those 3 kids are important because they show that there's at least 3 people outside of Kaya that legitimately look up to Usopp and believe in him. And that is a core theme of Usopp. When there are people that depend on him and look up to him, he comes through. Remember the dwarfs in Dressrosa? And he was going to run away like a little punk? And just knowing that those little guys and girls, those little folks were depending on him, he's like, hey, I'm Pirate Usopp. I'm not some great hero, but by the mind, I'm here to help save you. So you remember that. Also, Mont Blanc, that's just the Mont Blanc not theme, but story. Nami does read this to unconscious Zoro, so that's another little shout out there, right? Because Zeph said, talk to him while he's knocked out, because he got knocked the fuck out after he got cut. Django. Django is the go-between with the Black Cat Pirates and Kuro, or Klahadore. He's the go-between. Did you not want to do it because you didn't want to make a Michael Jackson reference? Didn't have to make a Michael Jackson reference. Just could have got a guy with a long hat, heart-shaped glasses, and just made him talk like a cool cat. Could have just changed it up to, someone that snaps his fingers all the time. That guy was actually important because he has ties with Full Body. Who's Full Body? Full Body is the guy from the Barate who Sanji had to kick his butt, but guess what? They changed it to him fighting with another pirate. Sanji kicks both of their butts, and Full Body has ties with Django. When I tell you the reason why I love One Piece is because every character matters, no matter how big or how small, and you will see them later on. If they live, you do. And you do see Full Body again. He is massive. But back to Django. And the thing that bothered me, and I'll talk about who's important next, was that the Syrup Village arc, or just the Kuro arc, if you want to call it, all of it being confined to just the house is so awkward because now you have none of his other pirates there. And it's accurate that Don Krieg thought that he had killed him, right? But you have none of the other Black Cat pirates there, and you don't have Kuro, who has this kill move that indiscriminately kills friend or foe. It doesn't go into deeper how ruthless he is. I'll give you credit for showing him moving quickly, right? The only thing I saw when I looked at the actor, and there's nothing against him, I said, that's Albert Wesker. That's not Kuro. That's Albert Wesker with Freddy Krueger cosplay, right? Talking about Hachi. Eight arm style Hachi, the octopus. Do not tell me that you can make every other fishman. You made Chew. You made a fishman who was like a blowfish who was at the Barate, which was completely different. You only did that so Arlong can come there and cause a big stink about that, about the races and stuff. You made us slaves, and Arlong's righteous point that really falls flat because Arlong is just an asshole. But you didn't have Hachi. And here's the rub. Hachi is important later on when we get to Shabadabadabidibudu Archipelago. Right before the time skip, right before the War of the Best. He is important because he has a change of heart. He feels bad about what they did to Nami. Luffy's okay with him. Nami's okay with him. He has the mermaid girl with him, with the starfish man. That he is an important character later, and he shows up again twice. Why? Who thought that Hachi wasn't? Who thought Chew was more important than Hachi? Did you just go, well, we gotta let Usopp have his moment? By having no Yasaku, Zoro didn't have any blades to borrow to do three swords against Hachi. And let's talk about Johnny and Yasaku. The fact of the matter is, they show that, hey, Zoro had more than just one friend. He's more than just friends with Kuina. You tried to make him this loner, but he had other friends, and that matters. It shows me that the world is massive and that these people led lives before they met Luffy. That is what, at least for me, that is what was important. Now what? Now Mihawk killing Craig. If you remember correctly, Mihawk drifted in and had destroyed their entire fleet because they interrupted his nap. And this is when we get Zoro and Mihawk fighting. But instead, we had Garp call Mihawk. We had a vice admiral call Mihawk in, which Garp reveals so much stuff that happens later in his speeches to Kobe, like going, I could have been I could have been an admiral, a fleet admiral, but I chose not to because I don't want to be under their rule. That is technically a spoiler that's kind of past Dressrosa, but it doesn't, that information doesn't matter. He doesn't want to be under their rule because guess what? The world isn't fair, but he wants to do the right thing by his own rules. But he calls Mihawk. Why? Why couldn't Mihawk just actually be like a force of nature? Why did Mihawk have to kill Don Craig? Because now instead of having Don Craig be the issue, you let Arlong be the issue. And you're trying to build Arlong up to this super big bad, which why are fishmen immune to bullets now? Because Tiger Fishman died by getting shot. Just saying. So and what was the point? Okay, if you killed Don Craig damn near off screen, what was the purpose of Gin? Was Gin just there to be like, hey, we want to show you that Sanji and Zeph have this philosophy of we're going to feed anyone, period. We don't care if you don't have money. We don't care who you are. We're going to feed you. Could have just doing anybody else at that point then, right? What was the purpose? Because now Gin doesn't have his moment of being torn about, oh man, these people fed me, but I have loyalty to my captain and we brought them here. What is the freaking point? I could talk about more changes, like the village didn't know that Nami was suffering for them. Like they thought that she was just a straight up traitor. Why would you join the man that killed your mother? Why are you all so stupid to think that she would do that without a probable cause? Okay. Why would Arlong kidnap Buggy? I don't like this idea that Arlong was the biggest fish in the sea. I do like that he worked with the Marines and paid them off so that his activities were kept quiet. But I don't like that it's like, oh, I'm better than Buggy. Buggy might try to slime ball his way out of it, but Buggy would probably stab you, right? Uh, Other people would fight you. You're obviously not the biggest because Mihawk can drift into town and just wreck your shit. Just I don't like Arlong being the big bag. It just you whatever. I guess you have to do it when you westernize things. You have to do things like that. I just think things would have been much better if you let those villagers be smart enough to know Nami didn't sell you out. Nami was doing it for all of you. I already mentioned the bar. I'm not gonna even get into that. I'm not gonna get into that either. Another thing, were they afraid of making CGI animals? Were you that afraid of PETA? Because two major characters, Helmeppo's wolf and Richie. You know, Richie the white lion who's part of Buggy's crew, which again, isolating that to a weird made up Buggy tent that never showed up in any type of media to just have a destroyed town set. It's a choice. I could have lived with it, but you showed Richie's tamer, but you didn't show Richie. And the wolf part for the Helmeppo thing for the X hand Morgan stuff, you had Zoro eat the food off of the floor, which has no bearings now, because unless you show, either you show it or you do a flashback. I would have rather you shown it and led to Luffy and then Kobe finding out. You just show Zoro stop that girl from getting eaten. Helmeppo was like, well, we're gonna end up punishing all of them. Locks him up after Zoro beats up his wolf. Then when the girl tries to bring him food and Helmeppo like smashes it and throws it on the ground, and then Zoro tells Luffy, yeah, feed that to me. That has weight. But him eating it off the floor, he didn't know her shit. So it doesn't matter. Right? That part doesn't matter. It just falls on deaf ears. You could have easily $16 to $18 million went into each episode. You're telling me you just with all your gum animations, you couldn't make a damn fake lion? It didn't even have to. I would say it doesn't have to look good, but it's for some reason the only animals in here are the paper carrying birds. So no wolf, no Richie, fine. Um, the Zoro fight with the unicycler, that wasn't really a fight because he choked him out. It's by altering that buggy stuff, we don't get to see, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I guess you tried to leverage it by having Luffy, Zoro, and Nami fight at the Shell Marine Fort. You tried to leverage it there, but those were just nameless dudes. The fact that Axe Hand Morgan had to be fought, that Zoro and Luffy both had to fight him together, that's a Luffy solo all day. He doesn't need help with that guy. He only needs help with Bucky because Bucky is a devil fruit user. Axe Hand Morgan is just some weird dude with an axe hand who's an abusive father. Meh, right? Okay. I argue, how come Alvita and Arlong weren't CGI? Arlong should have been bigger. Instead of making, the fishman apparently thugs and hoods who listen to rap music, instead of doing that, why don't you just make Arlong, 7 feet, CGI it? Why didn't you CGI Alvita to be massive? Because the woman playing Alvita, just a normal sized woman. I would have had Alvita be this CGI sloppy mess. And then after Luffy knocks her over and she gets her devil fruit powers, now she looks like the normal actress. And it's like, oh wow, you look amazing. Well, yeah, I look amazing because I got this fruit, right? But maybe they're gonna drop that if we get a season 2. Okay. I do. A funny thing is, there's a joke. I'm pretty sure you all heard it, but some people are actually getting upset about it. About Zoro. Zoro always fights the second in command, who always seem to be black. And it's funny because we do see him kill Mr. Seven, who is black. Now, I do like the Mr. Seven and Zoro fighting him part because this actually happened. He was there to recruit Zoro into Baroque Works. He would have been Mr. Bushido, but Zoro ended up killing the guy. And this is kind of the part where I was like, well, do they really always kill people? All in all, Zoro has probably murdered a lot of folks, right? So I won't hold that against him, that most of the people that Zoro fight are just gone. But I found that interesting that is actually a point for them putting Mr. Seven in here. Baroque Works was hinted at being just a big bad. Just, at least putting that thread through saying, yeah, we're trying to find out about Baroque Works from episode 2 on up. Interesting. I give you credit for that. That's very interesting. I already got mad about the Vice Admiral Garp thing. The whole sending off part, just I don't agree with it. Man, I tell you all, I couldn't. You could tell I couldn't wait to get that part out. Let's talk about this barrel scene. You know the infamous barrel scene where they're in the storm and Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, Usopp, they all put their foot up on the thing and they declare what they're gonna be when they cross that Grand Line, because the Grand Line is on reverse mountain going up. That entire scene doesn't happen until they leave Logue Town, or Rogue Town, which is short for Prologue Town, but Logue Town, right? None of that happens until after that scene. Or so after that setting. When Luffy meets Smoker, then Dragon shows up to save his son, then Buggy and Alvida and all them try to murder Luffy. And you get some other funny moments with Buggy accidentally paying for their food. If you were going to stop it, you could have just stopped it at Logue Town, but you can't because you made Luffy meet his granddad, and his granddad going, "All right, I just want to make sure you're sure about this." That I didn't need that. I didn't need that at all. But the barrel scene, which happened during a storm, this making a promise during a storm, it's more or less one of the most important parts. Also, we see in this scene, we see Luffy wearing shoes. It's just so awkward. You can just put on some sandals, bro. Put on some sandals for the scene. I don't care what else you do. Just that's kind of a negligent part right there. But if I'm gonna nitpick, that's a nitpick. But the barrel scene just I already told you how I feel about Gap before that. Patty from the Barate, he's black, which is cool. He's the only memorable face. They didn't show Carney, which is Patty and Carney. Patty is the patissier. Carney, I think, is he one of the sous chefs? I know Sanji was a sous chef, but you only had one memorable face there. You could have gave us both of them, or at least him in the background, because even that initial opening for the episode 1, you see the blue hair kid, oh, that's Buggy. You see red hair kid, okay, that's Shanks. You see Mihawk, and you guys didn't. Mm, mm, mm. Shout out to Jinbei. I don't know if I said that already, but that's pretty cool. I changed my stance. I wrote it in here that I was upset about the warlords being mentioned, but when I think about it, and upon greater research, they were mentioned that early. That's completely and totally fine. Although I'm still wondering why they kept calling it the One Piece. The One Piece. It's One Piece. You could just say One Piece, right? My goodness. And now, one of the biggest issues that I have is this kind of it feels rushed. I get it, right? Even my beloved Rurouni Kenshin live action, some things were changed. A lot of things were changed. Some things were consolidated. But you gave us 2 episodes for Syrup Village Usopp stuff. Gave us 2 episodes for the Barate, which is, you should have done that. That was perfect. Although, you should have just let Don Krieg do all the damage. And we could have got a cooler fight with Don Krieg versus Luffy, because Luffy gets his bounty from beating Don Krieg, from beating Arlong, from beating, I don't think Kuro was counted. Kuro wasn't counted, but Buggy, beating those 3 and people seeing it. There was no one around for the Mihawk fight. There was barely, the people that were around for the Arlong stuff were inside. Okay. But things were too rushed, Personally, I would have gave 2 episodes for Shell Town. So guess what you would have had for that? You would have had the first episode, show us Zoro. Zoro does the thing where, he takes up for the kid and you get the wolf. He gets locked away, and then Luffy and what's his name come in. Then episode 2 is where, pardon me, is where you get the whole, oh, we're all going to try to steal the map. And blah, if you're going to insist on Nami being there, okay, we're going to try to steal the map, and we get some more little backstory and stuff like that. I would have did it that way. Buggy the Clown episodes should have been 2 episodes too. And you could have had longer fights. You could have had an actual fight with Richie and the unicycle swordsman. I don't know why you skipped out on Buggy's literally the best part in here. Like, when he flips off Zoro and Sanji, hilarious. He says, I got an exit stage left, and just flips them both off, and it's wonderful. Buggy is, I can't believe I'm about to say this, because from me reading the manga, I'm still kind of annoyed with Buggy. I kind of like Buggy. I'm kind of a bug. I'm a bug. I'm a bug guy. I like Buggy. Luffy always messing up his name is wonderful. That is a thing that they kept. Good job. Mwah, chef's kiss. But it's too. All this was too short. I told you the last episode was 49 minutes, right? Last episode was 49 minutes. Um, yeah, that's not very long. You could have made episode before last 50 minutes and made this the hour long episode. Ew, it's a choice because that the rest of that Arlong stuff wrapping up in 20 minutes, and then the rest of the 20 minutes is the Luffy fighting Garp, which is that hasn't even happened in the manga or the anime yet. And that's why I said this felt like a filler or a special. Now, One Piece does have specials, right? Where they take whole arcs and just push them down to either an hour or to 2 hours. And it's fascinating because you get, for example, I want to say that the Syrup Village stuff was maybe 41 episodes, maybe 20 something episodes. Um, Here, I'll even do this. How long was the Syrup Village arc? We're going to do this live, guys. Syrup Village arc was, well, in reading chapters, it was 20 chapters. But if you allow me a quick moment to just actually find out the whole where is it? Where is it? Oh no, I'm only getting the manga stuff. I'm sorry, guys. But 20 chapters, I'm going to equate that to maybe 40 episodes. Maybe. Oh, my bad. I was wrong. 10 episodes. It's 10 episodes. Episodes 9 to 18. 10 episodes. Thank you, One Piece Wikia. So, when you have the specials and they condense 10 episodes, 2 hours. Of course, they're going to take some stuff out. They rechange some stuff. Even the Nami episode special, which was her reminiscing while she's on the ship and they're on their way to the Fishman Island, right? Even that, they changed. Luffy didn't get thrown in the water, which he didn't get thrown in the water in this either, which I can call negligible, right? I can get over that. But I'll talk about something in a minute. But this is why this series felt like that to me. It's like the Gintama filler theory, which is true. You get so much part where the anime and the manga are the same, and then the manga has to stop and the anime zigzags and maybe can catch up. It feels like here, okay, cool. So I read this chapter of the manga and I watched these 2 episodes. Sing, 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 bang. Okay, I'm online. Sing, sing, sing. And I'm just gonna keep. That's how it felt for me personally. And if you're still with me, thank you for hanging on for this entire hour. But I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. So, one of my things that confused me, and I usually pay attention, I couldn't tell when they were at Arlong Park that they were on the top floor. Couldn't tell at all until Luffy did the battle axe through the roof and stomped Arlong, all the way down. Iconic anime scene. They did it here, right? I couldn't tell because at least in the anime, we had Luffy fights him. Oh no, I'm underwater. Oh, Genzo. They had Genzo and Nojiko. They saved me, and then Sanji saves me. And okay, round 2 Arlong. All right, we're fighting, and now we're up. Now we're upstairs, and I see the map room, and I tear all this stuff down because you're not going to use Nami. I couldn't tell they were on the top floor. I couldn't, and that I argue that a person who's casual and is just barely paying attention, that they probably wouldn't be able to tell either. But maybe I'm nitpicking at this point. I don't know. That just kind of bothered me a bit, on top of all these other things. But with all of this, I already talked about the Black Cat Kuro fight being shifted. Even and there's certain inconsistencies. I'm not gonna bring up the pinwheel from Genzo. I'm kind of over that. Um, the fact that we didn't have someone like Johnny tell Sanji and others, hey, yeah, that Jinbei guy who's a warlord, he used to work with Arlong, and now it won't come up later. Like Sanji won't go, hey, what was the deal with you and Arlong? And then Jinbei can't apologize and say, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." Now there's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, this guy named Arlong." What are you gonna do when you get to Jinbei if you continue making this? Are you have to CG Jinbei, right? There's no way that you're gonna have like an 8 foot whale shark fish man. You can't find an actor for that. I've seen great cosplay, but how? Because you got to CG Brook too. Somebody's got to be CG. Somebody. I'm just putting it out there. Um, Correct things. Nazumi finally giving Luffy his 30 million berry uh, bounty. That was enjoyable. Although the reason why he gave it is because, they made a fool of him and Nami popped the dude in the back of the head. So, for my last page, I want to talk about who is going to like this, who is going to love this, and who is going to hate it. Before this series ever came out, super fans were defending it, saying, Oda's part of it. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. I don't care what no one says. And guess what? You shouldn't care what no one says. If you want to watch this and love it, you watch it and you love it. I'm happy for every single person that enjoyed this series. Sincerely. Promise you, I'm happy that you love it. Here's my issue. Already defending this, even if there's issues, I don't trust your opinion that much. Because you've made it known, I'm going to defend this until the cows come home. That's the super, all the way on this. This is my left hand side of the spectrum, right? On my right hand here, there's people that are going to hate this shit because it's just One Piece. There's people who will just hate it just because I want to hate it and I want to dump on it. I can't trust your opinion either, bro. Especially when you talk about, hey, I'm black too and I just don't like that they make this kid. Shut the fuck up. Pardon my language. Shut up. Who cares? Who cares? Okay? The character's race in here don't. Guess what matters is whether they're human or not human. That actually matters. Oda finally getting a chance to show these characters looking how he envisioned them to look, while not having to worry about having to sell it in Japan and being like, okay, this is how all these people look. This is how I imagine them. They would be. The only thing that would bother me is that Kuina wasn't the only female swordsman at the dojo. That's kind of dumb because her whole arc is being like, I'm being told it doesn't matter that I'm strong now, that men will always beat women. And Zoro going, I don't believe in that sexist bullshit. You're going to be strong no matter what, and we're going to motivate one another. That kind of takes it away from it, right? But not because someone is black. What is wrong with you? The show is about going against government. The show is about fighting slave rings. The show is literally about people being free and treating everyone right and equally. Shut up. Shut up. My God, shut up. So you have the far right over here. Oh, wow. I just realized what I did there. Yeah, people on this side, they're just going to hate no matter. Yeah, people on this side, they're going to love it no matter what. And I've talked to casual folks. I got a friend who stopped watching right around when you get to the Usopp stuff. And they enjoyed it. They liked it. They liked it a lot. And that's great. Somewhere between that person and the super fans. I'm somewhere in the middle there because I love One Piece. I sincerely do. My favorite characters are the weirdos. I love Chopper, Jinbei, and Brook. Those are my dudes. My favorite villain is Rob Lucci. Second favorite is Crocodile. I'm a huge fan of I was leaning towards Sanji, but I like the big three. I really love the Straw Hats. I do. And upon watching it again, I felt much more of the societal, governmental, and emotional parts of this series. Like watching it again in your 30s, when you were watching it when you were a teenager, and in your 20s, when you only cared about how hard someone was going to punch and what was the new move. Watching it again, I get another perspective for it, and I love it. I love it to death. And I love this series. But this show was not for me. I loved when the characters laughed and enjoyed each other. I loved when Sanji and Zoro interacted. I loved Buggy, but this was not for me. I wish I remember being upset because Luffy's actor, he didn't watch One Piece before this. That was a bold faced lie. He even admitted that he didn't do it. Guess what? It didn't really matter. He had the spirit. He just couldn't really say his lines all that well. That wasn't important. Does this feel like One Piece to me? Not really. There's characters being left out. That's a huge thing that I hate. I dislike that, especially when those characters add to our main characters, our main Straw Hats lives. Do I think they could do Chopper? We made Detective Pikachu. There's no way that they can't make a Chopper that doesn't look weird and uncanny valley, but it also looks cute and cuddly, and that'll turn into a giant, gorilla reindeer man and beat your face in. I believe they can do that. If you're casual, give it a watch, but I implore you, please. One Piece is on here, subbed and dubbed on Netflix. Please give that a watch too. Watch the animated series, please. Especially if you don't have time to read. Super fans, I'm glad you love it. Haters, okay. But personally, out of 5, the show is not garbage, so it's not a 1. It's not fantastic, so it's not a 5. I'm drifting between a 3 and a 2. Personally, this is better than Dragon Ball Evolution, which is not a very it's not a very high bar to get around, right? But it pales in comparison to something like Rurouni Kenshin. It's much better than what I've seen of Death Note. I couldn't even make it through that, and I refuse to even go through Cowboy Bebop ever again. I know, no, 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 no. Just no on that. It is better. We're heading in the right direction, but I just wish it had more style, more of the style for me. And that's the things that bugged me watching it. Those are the things that I looked for. So you're gonna get 2 ratings here. Sue me. At its highest, it is a 3. It is average. You can follow it. You can follow it for the most part. But in my heart, I would give it a 2.5. It's slightly below average for me. It's not crappy. Personally, it's just when I got after episode 4, I was just going, I can't do it. When Kobe showed up and saw Usopp, that's where I said I can't. Now we're going into territory that I don't even care about anymore. They get so much credit from me for having some of those iconic moments. Zoro crying, going, "I'll never lose again." Um, I can't believe you guys got me teared up with Sanji's parts. Period. I can't believe you got me there, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I just don't particularly care for it. And with that, I have fulfilled the promise that I made to a good friend of mine. I gave it a shot. I watched and when I say I watched everything, I watched all the credits as well. Did not skip out on anything. If you want to make this better, Netflix Studio Tomorrow, Mr. Matt Owen, if you sat through this whole hour and like actually watched this, thank you. But if you guys want to make this better, give it a theme. I don't care if you do We Are, if you do Jungle Peace theme. I don't care if you do no, that's Jungle Pea that I was about to sing. There's a theme that they sing going into Alabasta. That's my favorite theme. If you can put some of the themes for a theme song, I get that you had to westernize it, but I just 2.5. 2.5 to 3 for me. Did you enjoy this? Tell me why you enjoyed it. What was your favorite episode? And if you don't have a favorite episode, what was your favorite part? I'm telling you, Mihawk, Buggy, Sanji. Favorite parts of this. I would watch their clips over and over again. I could watch those first 20 minutes of the last episode, just because the Sanji and Zoro interactions was that was perfect. That was great. I enjoyed that greatly. Let me know what you liked in the comment section. If you disagree with me and you want to thumbs me down into hell, I get it. But I implore you, please tell me what you liked. Tell me where you disagree with me at. I genuinely want to hear from you. Be respectful, all right? Whether you like this show or you don't like the show, be respectful down there, all right? We all have opinions. We all have tastes, all right? Please don't forget, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of more things like this. I guess at this point I should go back and I should go and review other live action things. Battle Angel Elite is actually really, really good. I wasn't a super fan of the manga or the anime, and Battle Elite is really good. Ghost in the Shell is trash. I don't like it for reasons that I would explain in a review if I ever do it. All right. Please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Drink your water. All right. Be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Either way it goes. Please don't be a jerk. All right. All right. And just make sure that no matter how you're feeling, right? And especially if you're feeling low, you reach out to somebody, you talk to somebody. There are people out there that would rather talk to you today than miss you and mourn you tomorrow. I promise you that. Hit me up on any of my social medias. They are in the description below. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I feel great now that I've gotten that off of my chest. Oh, yeah. And to tie it back to the Ninja Turtles, the Ninja Turtles movie actually had Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. This barely had some parts in it. Now that I think about it, it had some parts, but it didn't have all the parts. So there you go. I tied it back to the shirt, didn't I? I'll see you guys next time. I've held you up long enough.